Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hola. Hello. How are we all doing? Welcome to RJH's live stream. First of 3 this week. So I'm actually scheduled for 3 live streams this week. And the first live stream this evening is Tuesday, the 13th of July, 2021. So welcome for those that have joined us. Talking all about Module 1. All about Module 1 test. Back by popular demand. So we've had a lot of people messaging me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and wanting more of the Module 1. And as we are experiencing high levels of Module 1 tests, passes, and a few fails, but a lot of test passes, I thought I would get another live stream in. So that is the subject of tonight. So this live stream is going to benefit those that are just coming through into Module 1 or even Module 2. So before we get into that, I suppose really, again, congratulations are in order at RJH camp for all of those passes on CBT, completions of tasters, passes of Module 1 and Module 2. It's only Tuesday. Had a busy couple of days, mixed weather, but we had a busy couple of days, so big congratulations to them. And also big congratulations to all the instructors that are working really, really hard behind the scenes, including Charlie in the booking office and Lisa in the booking office also. So congratulations to them. Team is really working very, very hard. And congratulations and thanks to all those people up and down the country that have been messaging, complimenting us on our videos, asking questions, letting us know that they've passed. It really does mean a lot. So as I said, tonight's live stream is all about Module 1. It is the first of 3 live streams that I have scheduled for this week. So please do hit that subscribe button and hit those reminder buttons. I've got a live stream coming on Thursday night and a live stream coming on Friday night. So Thursday's live stream is all about Module 1. And Friday's live stream is all about bike maintenance. So lots planned for this week. Please do join us. And as I said, hit that reminder button so you do get notifications of when the videos are on. And I suppose also worth mentioning, I'm looking at some software which will enable me to bring into the screen pictures. And I've been talking to somebody that helps me out down at the bike school who may be coming on at some point tonight, Andy. And he has mentioned that OBS, introducing OBS, so streaming through OBS. And that will give me a little bit more flexibility as to what I can bring into the screen rather than just talking. Also bringing in some graphics and stuff like that. So I'm just going to be playing around with that. So yeah, over the next few weeks, you might see a bit of a difference with the live streams. That's the plan anyway. The ongoing competition still stands. And I am giving away a free CBT worth £199, and that can be used at Wigan, RJH Wigan, it can be used at RJH Manchester, or it could be used at RJH Northwich. So I'm giving away £199 worth of a CBT, and it will be a one question, first correct answer wins, but that question will come out when we are receiving 100 viewers at one time. The record is 62. So when I do we are aiming to get to 100 people watching at once, I will open that question and offer that free CBT. So do please keep commenting away, contributing to the channel, contributing to the live streams, and we will get there eventually. All right, so that's that. So let's have a look at who we got. Good evening, Lisa. Welcome to the live stream. Good evening, Paul and Jude, AW8 and Red Dragon. So a couple of names there that I don't think I recognize. So please do comment away. Let us know how you came across the channel. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. And GR, evening all, got my mod run retake tomorrow afternoon. Looking forward to it. More nerves about tomorrow than I was 4 weeks ago. I failed last test due to hitting the white line during my U-turn. Good evening, Andy. So Fortune HD has given me some tips, which I will be following up on the OBS. So live stream through OBS and maybe introducing a little bit more interesting graphics and bits and bobs coming through. So watch this space. As I said, over the next few weeks, I will hopefully be able to show you some improvements. AW8 second gear, 650cc DAS bike, second gear, 32 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour, about 5,000 revs, and that will give you better engine braking. That's what I teach. Been teaching that since 2009. And occasionally somebody will go up to third, but we don't teach that. But anyway, so that is my recommendation. Or the slow speed, gear 1, round the top bend, round the curve, and coming back down for your high speeds, second gear. So yeah. So we're going to get moving on then to the live stream about module 1. And I just want to, before that, ask you all, I suppose, also to join me in congratulating the England team for getting to the final, and offer condolences for not quite getting there at the last hurdle. But they did us proud. All the lads did us proud. So Gareth did us proud, and as they've all said, you know, the team is a very young team, and they've probably got another 10 or 15 years in that team. So better things to come. Yeah, so try third, bogs down. Yeah, I do second. Yeah, I would certainly do second gear. And Mr. Andy is making me a banner for YouTube, eh? You don't like my bookcase. As you can see, I'm a bit of a bookworm. Weather's been good again, hasn't it? Good weather. So, yeah, lots of... I actually had a good one today. I was at St. Helens Test Centre, and one of the local schools to St. Helens, come in there with 2 people. They both came over to me and telling me they saw me on YouTube that morning and the night before. They've been hammering in our videos on YouTube, and it's yeah, it was quite nice. And I said to him, "Well, I can tell you, if you've been watching my YouTube channel, you've been patting." So I don't know. Best line through the trap is centre. Come through the centre of the trap. Don't try to do a shortcut. Come through the centre of the trap. Yeah, I'd come through the line of the speed trap centre. Yeah, come through centre. Don't try and get an angle to make the avoidance or anything easier. Come through the centre. Oh, Fortune, no, Rob, a banner for the top of my YouTube channel. Yes, mate, please do. Yeah, because it's very particular. Yeah, or, hey, see what you can do. You can book, Hader, you can, if you fail your module 2, you can book a module 2 test with us straight away, but you cannot resit it for 10 days. 10 working days you need to wait. You cannot resit your Module 2 test for 10 working days. Module 1 is 3 working days. Module 2 is 10 working days. So are we ready then? Let's think about Module 1. Because we've got quite a lot of, we've got another new one there. Twazak. Failed first time, put my foot down doing U-turn and failed second time from nerves, missed a cone, stalled and foot down again. Roll on next time. Third time lucky. You cannot overswerve it. That Module 1 test facility is a fantastic surface, and the bikes will do more than what you think they will. Oh, if you fail, you can book it again on the same day, Hayden. Book it the same day, mate. You like my haircut? I'm going for the, I don't know what I'm going for actually, but anyway, it's number 1 on the sides and the back, and I'm leaving the top long for now to see how we go. Still waiting for the grey to come through, but there ain't much of it. Yes, you do, Red Dragon. You have to do a CVT if you want to ride anything and a 50 bigger than the 50cc. 2001, you could on your car license ride a 50cc. 1993, yeah, you do need a CVT to go through the process. 110% Red Dragon, you need a CVT. Got a Mod 1 test for the 12th of August over in Hull, looking fresh. You don't get grey working at RJH. No, maybe. So a little bit. Yeah, so there's a few good names on there, and there's a few of all that got Module 1. So this live stream is going to help you guys and gals. So questions away, fire away, but I'm going to start going through it all in a moment. Got a few people watching. That is encouraging. So thank you all very much. Well, yeah, it depends. It depends on your school, Hader. So if you're getting with us, it's just subject to availability. Most schools are now booking up into September, August, September, October. I mean, the training schools generally are speaking. It's not just yourself, but they're busiest they have been for 20 years. Just depends, mate. Yeah, it just depends. Is a foot down on a Module 1 a fail? Well, if you're riding an exercise, if you're riding a maneuver and you put your foot down, then yeah, generally then that is what we would say will be a fail. On a U-turn, it would be a fail. If you're putting your foot down to hold the bike up because you're losing control, then yes, it's a fail. We always we train our trainees, if you're carrying out an exercise, if the foot goes down, then you're going to pick up a serious fault. Yeah, hazard avoidance, too slow. Second time I looked at speedo and at the cone. Big thing. Second attempt, a bit of pressure. Second attempt, you concentrate on the speed. There, you're going to pick up that fight. I can give you lots of tips tonight on how you can avoid that. So do watch this video. The tips that I'm going to give you are tried and tested tips, and they're tips that we train our trainees on Module 1, and we have a very, very good first time pass rate. I'm getting a lot of comments tonight. We've got 14 people watching and only 5 likes, so please do, ladies and gents, hit that like button. And please do, if it's the first time onto the channel, subscribe and hit those reminders. I've got 3 live streams scheduled this week alone. 3 live streams tonight, Module 1, Thursday, Module 2, and Friday, a maintenance. So talking about maintenance of your bike. So that's all this week. So very important that you do, if not, subscribe. Why is it a 3-year wait after A category to become an instructor, whereas other professions allow you to become an instructor faster? Well, you don't actually, you don't actually have to wait 3 years after an A license. You could have a mixture of an A2 and an A, because the criteria is that you need to have held a full category motorcycle for 3 years and be over 21 years old. So you could have your A2 for 2 years and then do your A for 1 year, a mixture of the two, and be 22 years old, and you could do it that way. So it's not a 3-year wait after category A. It could be A2, but it's a 3-year combined. Hope that clears that up. If you're fitting into that criteria, come and see us, because we would love some young instructors on board. Also, is more than 5 minors a fail on module 1? Yes. 5 minor faults would be a pass. 6 minor faults would be a fail. 1 serious or 1 dangerous would be a fail. Richard Price, how much experience after a CBT is an average before people do module 1 and module 2 tests? There's no right or wrong. Our most popular course is that we sell across the board is intermediate, which is 5 sessions. So you want to do it over a couple of weeks. That is our most popular course. Some people like to get a bit of experience on 125, other people don't, and they don't need to. So, don't compare yourself to others. You do what is best for you. Hader Katak, I have an A1 for 5 years. Well, that means you're over 21. Unfortunately, can't become an instructor for you until I pass A and wait for 3 years. Well, yeah, come back and see us, Hader, when you are ready. Come back and see us. Speedo. I had prior been thinking along the lines as to what Rob confirmed about checking the rev counter, particularly useful for digital speed, not 100 km when it's at 5,000. Go for the sound. Develop that sound, and you can tell. Yeah, 5,000 revs. Second gear is about between 32 and 35. So try not, get out of that habit of looking at the speedo. Yeah, on your CBT, Chris, you can only ride a 125cc. If you want to ride anything bigger, you do need to be with a certified instructor and under radio contact. Good. So I'm really, really pleased with the content, the questions. So keep them coming. 18 people watching and 8 likes. So we can get that equal. We can get more than 8 likes. And if we can get more than 18 people watching, that would be brilliant. Right, so module 1 then, ladies and gentlemen. Module 1. That is what we're going to be talking about. Yeah. So what do you need before you can do your module 1? You need a CBT certificate, and you need a motorcycle theory test certificate, and you need a license with a motorcycle with the correct category on it. Just Joel, got your module 1 tomorrow morning. Good timing this. Fantastic. So yeah, and the good thing is also, Joel, you can play it back. So this whilst it is a live stream and you can interact with me and you can ask me any questions that you want, then you can always play it back as well. Yeah, so they can do that as well. So module 1 is the topic of tonight. So before you arrive at the test centre, you need to ensure you've got the correct documents. You need to ensure that you are wearing the right gear. Okay, so your instructors can help you with that. And what is important, because we do see people coming up to the test centres on their own bikes, getting them out of a van and stuff like that. Well, the bikes haven't got L plates. The bikes, they haven't got the right clothing on. And it's, they're trying to get through on a shoestring, which I appreciate that, because some people are a bit strapped for cash and whatnot. But, go get your instructor, pay for an instructor, get that quality tuition. But yeah, so you do need your CBT certificate, you need your theory test certificate, and you need your card part of your license with the correct entitlement before you can even sit the module 1. You do need to wear ankle protection footwear, minimum of denim jeans. You will need a jacket with body armor on it and a bib, and you will need a helmet and gloves. All right. So the examiners will check all of your documents, and the examiner will also look at what you're wearing. So very important. Yeah. Bit of preparation on your part. And we give pupils times. Always get to your centre on time. Don't leave it to the last minute, because you put pressure on everybody. And what you want to do is get to the test centre, with a bit of, you can't get into the test centres at the moment 10 minutes before test generally, but you want to get there a bit earlier, and then you're not so stressed and you can be relaxed. That is important, being relaxed. So documentation and what you're wearing, very, very important. And we check that before we leave the training centre over to the test centre. Ada, they could use you to be a rep in colleges to come in once a season to promote CBT, etc. Have you thought of promoting yourself and riding this way? Yes, we were doing college visits 20 years ago. In the early days, I used to do it. I used to teach to 16 and 17-year-old girls and boys, because we used to do car lessons as well back then. So we have done that. It does work. If I'm perfectly honest with you, Hader, after 20 years now, what I do find the biggest challenge is TIME, and that is time. That is the biggest problem, is time. But yes, it does work. Ian Wallington, hi there. Ian, I'll tell you something, Ian, if there's a favourite actor, my favourite actor has got to be Tom Cruise. I don't know about you guys, but I do think that Tom Cruise is the best actor on the planet, along with Keanu Reeves, I would say, but no, Tom is up there at the top. But thank you very much for that anyway. But I don't think I do look like him. If I did, I would be on the screens. Right, what else we got? Do you class the Mod 1 as a full day or half? Well, we have 3-hour lessons, which is half a day. So we would have a visit to the test centres to do Module 1s within 3 hours. So because we use 8 different test centres, and it can take us an hour to get to a test centre. But it just depends on, all schools will do different courses in different ways. But our courses are broken down into 3-hour lessons. And if I'm perfectly honest with you, if you go back 20 years when we first started, you could do a 6-hour full day lesson. But now the roads are so demanding, and it's too much. 6 hours tuition is too much. So we find that 3 hours is a lot more productive. It's better for the instructors, and it's better for the trainees. Yeah, or schools word it differently. Whatever it's worded, look at what it contains. Look at what the content is. So we do half a day, 3 hours. That's what we call half a day is 3 hours. And, you know, that the instructors will get paid for 3 hours, get paid for half a day. If you do 2-3 hours in a day, that's a full day. Quite often we're doing 3 hours, which is a day and a half. How it's worded just, you know, just goes down to what the particular school is calling it. So are we all clear then about how what documents we have at the test centre? Now, RJH always take the documents off the trainees at the commencement of going to the centre in the top box, so you don't have to worry about that. And we'll always make sure that you're wearing the right gear. We provide everything apart from boots. So we will present you on time at the test centre with the correct documentation, with the correct clothing, and nice and relaxed, because we do, you know, we do get, as I said, an hour journey to the test centre, and we can give you a good relax. You can concentrate a bit on module 2, take your mind off of module 1. But also with that, what we find with our trainees have such a back support. So we've got all the social media platforms. We've got a bit of fun on TikTok now. If you've not seen that, have a look at it. So a bit of fun on TikTok, and we have a star on TikTok. There is somebody that's coming through the ranks as a star of the TikTok. Hey, how's that? TikTok. And he's watching tonight. Get on our TikTok, have a look at him. He is a star. So that's a bit of fun. And then we've got the Twitter, we've got the Instagram, we've got all those. But our most beneficial learning aid for somebody coming through the school, and not just up and down the country either, but our students, is our YouTube channel. And this is invaluable. Yes, I am, Joel. I will be going through each and every exercise going through module 1. So that's you, Fortune HD. Andy, he is becoming the TikTok. I'll get my words out right in a minute. He is becoming the TikTok star. I actually got him on there today. He was cleaning my bike. Not that my bike needed cleaning, but he was cleaning it anyway. It's already the cleanest in the fleet, but he cleaned it anyway. So module 1, depending where you're going, your instructor will get you there. Okay, present you. You go in at the moment. Yeah, my pipes are the cleanest in the fleet. You've got to be there to understand that. So when we present people for tests, we let the students have one of our neck tubes. So when you meet the examiner, when you meet him, you've got to have that up like that. So you always have that up like that. You meet the examiner, he gets your license. Yeah, can I check your face? Yeah. Put that back up. That's COVID. So that's due to COVID. You've got to have a face mask at the moment due to COVID. He checks your details and everything. You're happy with all that. Out you go to your bike. Now on module 1, there are no questions on the bike. There's no eyesight check. There's no questions. All your module 1 is you know, demonstrating to your examiner that you can control the bike. Now, module 1 test, at the time you start it, within 15 minutes, you're probably going to be done off of that facility, and you'll know whether you pass or fail straight away. And then if you pass, they give you a certificate, and you'll always get an email with the report on what your result is and how you've done on the test, showing you all your faults and stuff like that. So the test itself will only last you 15 minutes. So are we all clear about that so far? Yeah. 23 people watching, 15 likes. Been on for 30 minutes. That's not bad, is it? Can we get 100 people watching at once? That's what we like, isn't it? That is what we would like. Do you charge a day rate? Well, we can charge a day rate, but we have different courses. So all of our courses are on our website. So if Lisa's watching or somebody's watching, they can just tap in the website details. Everything's on there. The school doesn't get the email on the result unless you give them the school the result, the email, because the examiner will ask you for your email. And when we trainer book you, because we trainer book our trainees, we get your email anyway, so they'll already have your email. Because when we name you for the test, we put your email against that. So it's all very smoothly run, like a well-oiled cog. Yeah, it's like a well-oiled cog. Yeah, this is free advice. You've liked it. Well done, AW8. It is free advice. You know, this is all good stuff. You can take from it what you want, and you can take from it and use it. But, you know, you're all no doubt having quality tuition that you pay for. So combine it with that. You know, this is stuff we've been doing for 20 years. Yeah, next year, in 2022, the summer of 2022 will be 50 years since I first rode a motorbike. So my first introduction into motorbikes was the summer of 1972. So next year is 50 years, which is, yeah, it's not bad, that, is it? Half a century. Yeah, do welcome people to like and share and subscribe. Right, so are we all there? Your test has started and you're not even in the test centre facility yet. Multi-purpose test centres. These came out in 2009, it was launched. So this current test came out in 2009. They were looking to introduce it in 2008, but it wasn't ready. They didn't have it in place. And there were hundreds of motorbike test centres prior to that, and then it went down to 40 or something, I think, when it first came out. Don't quote me on that, but it was down, it was round about that, 40 or 50, I think, across the country. So there were a lot of people. There were a lot of people that didn't have access to a test centre. Unfortunately, at the time, we were in Congleton. We used to use Chadderton. It was a casual site. Stopped doing it there now. We used to use Macclesfield, Northwich. But anyway, so yeah, so then so it's been around now 13 years. The module 1 in 30 years, tweaked slightly, but it's pretty much the same. 15 minutes on and off. 5 faults is a pass, minor faults 6, minor faults is a fail. 1 serious, 1 dangerous is a fail. And remember, as we said, your test has started. Your test has started as soon as really you've met the examiner. So you're in the car park, your test has started. Now you've got to ride from the car park into the test facility, and the examiner will open the gate and ask you to ride through and wait for him. So remember, you're on your test, so all your observations, the way you move off, control position, even in the car park. And remember, the car park generally is shared. So if there are learners, you know, young 17-year-olds that are petrified going for their car tests all over the place, watch out for them. So be patient and don't just, you know, bulldoze your way through into the test centre facility. be considerate to other learners and test candidates as well. So you will ride into the test facility when he opens the gate and wait for him, and he will close the gate behind you, and then he will come over to you. And at that point, just pop it into neutral and relax. Not a problem. Pop it into neutral when you're waiting. Doesn't mind that. Right, how are we on there? Let's have another quick look then. I've liked this. Others, please do. Yeah, please do like. Well, everyone should like and share. Well, you're not the only one. Welcome to the party. It's stupid I have to wait 8 weeks for my CBT. Not with RJH, you don't. We have 3 training centres, and we can get you in. I mean, somebody booked in the CBT today for tomorrow. There are now, I think, 11 of us teaching. So you don't wait until September to RJH. You wait 24 hours. How's that? We cover the whole Northwest. We've got Wigan, RJH Wigan. We've got RJH Manchester. We've got RJH Northwich. And we are looking at another facility tomorrow in the north. Watch this space. And we are actively looking for the south of Manchester. So RJH Wigan, RJH Manchester, RJH Northwich. But we are looking at more sites. Do examiners prefer hands to stay on the bars even when neutral when stopped? Well, people do and people don't. It's very level, flat ground, so don't overthink it. As long as you're in control, then no. I mean, pupils have the hands on, relaxed, not on the bars, foot on the back brake, both feet down. When you're stationary in neutral, don't overthink it. It may be worth contacting other schools if you have been told 8 weeks. I would use RJH if local. Yes, we can get you in. Give us a ring. I'm from Somerset. I need a CBT fast. Well, Somerset. We actually had somebody come up from St. Ives, spent the week with us, did their CBT, their theory test, and there's a CBT, the Module 1 test, Module 2 test, passed all first time within a week, and they're moving to the Gran Canaria next week. So that was somebody from St. Ives. So yes, you don't have to wait with us. We're quite fortunate at the moment, and and it's it hasn't just landed on our laps. We have worked as a company so hard during lockdown and after lockdown in introducing and training, putting the time aside to train new instructors to come through. And we are now starting to see the benefits of that when, other schools are quoting 8 weeks for CBTs. So with RJH, we can certainly still get you in within a week. Yes, Andrew, our bikes are all under 5 years old. We have a lot of 2021 models and 2020 models. We're currently looking at about 40 bikes in the fleet across the group now, and they are all looking good. We put a lot of time and money into keeping the bikes tip-top condition. So, first exercise then on Module 1. Who can tell me? First exercise on Module 1 is... So, who has got that answer? First exercise on Module 1. Manual handling. Manual handling, good. So let's have a chat then about manual handling. It is the first exercise. And we've got another new name, Sushan Sus, wheeling the motorcycle around. Yes, it is. So my first top tip for you on the manual handling would be which bay to park in. So which bay should we or would we recommend you park in? If there's 2 bays, there's 8 green cones, 4 green cones is a bay, there's 2. So we would always, Paul, yes, park in the right one with the yellow cones behind. And that way it is a lot easier putting the bike in the right bay to the left bay than actually putting it in the left bay to the right bay. And depending where your test centre car park the entrance is, you'll need to work out how you're going to get into it. But make sure that you park in it. Now, your examiner's not going to be there waiting. You go over and he'll then come over to you. But he's watching you all the time. So remember when you've gone into the test centre, the facility, and he then closes the gate behind you, comes over to you, has a chat with you, and they are human. He might try and, have a little conversation with you, but he'll show you where you need to go using this chart. He'll show you where you need to go. So how you get there, he'll let you go, but don't forget, he's always watching you. So do not forget your observations. Do not forget your mirrors and shoulders before you move away. And when you park into the bay, there is an order that we would always recommend that you park up and dismount. So can anybody say the order that you would do? So you park up in the bay in first gear. So how do you go from there, first gear, to actually securing and getting off the bike? What's the process that we would teach? And more importantly, not only what is the process of doing it, but why do we tell you to do it, do you think? So let's have a minute for that, see if any answers coming through. Before I tell you. Oh, here we go, Paul. Into neutral, engine off, and stand down. Red Dragon, fantastic. Now that's spot on. Just Joel, neutral, ignition, stand, get off. Spot on, well done. And we'd always find neutral and then ignition off, stand in that order. So it prevents you accidentally kicking into gear with the engine running. If you put the side stand down when it's in first gear, the engine cut off, you might then forget and it can't move it. So yeah, that is the safest way to do it. So well done. Few really good answers there. Let me just go back to the up here. I've got somebody, Tony Hembro. He can hear me when he puts his head down at night. Fantastic. That's what we like to hear, Tony. Rob Lee Newton starts his DAS in 2 weeks. Great to hear. Now there was another one there. He said he's starting with us on Sunday, did he? Was it Wayne? Let me see if I can see. I did see one come up just now. Wayne said he starts with us on Sunday, I think. So look forward to that, Wayne, although I'm not in on Sunday. But if it's Eccles, you'll be with Graham. If it's Northwich, or we're going to be with Sylvia. Rob, I had been thinking about manual handling. If starting in right left bay, the front brake cannot be gripped if needed. Surely more control. We don't use the front brake, so if you put the bike in the right hand bay, do everything we said. So into neutral, engine off, side stand down, dismount. Make sure you give that side stand a couple of little kicks to make sure it's fully engaged, because it can click back up if it's winter time and muck up on underneath it. Now, you don't want the bike to drop over, because if you drop it over, you know, problems, aren't you? But then what you want to do is lift the bike up off the stand. So left hand on the left handlebar, right hand on the grab rail, lift the bike up right position, kick the stand up, look over both shoulders, and then walk around. You don't need the front brake covered. It's very, very flat. So you're not wrong. You would have good control with the front brake covered, but you've got very flat surface, and you find it a lot easier if you have your hand on the grab rail or firm point. And of course, yeah, so neutral engine off in there, good, but I won't challenge DAS or RJH. No, well done. What's the most common reason for people failing their CBT? Kaz, that's on another video, CBTs, but there's not, I would say there is not a most common reason that you would fail a CBT. I would think there's many different, and remember as well, we don't call it a fail. We just call it that you need a little bit more training. Okay, just not ready. So don't think of not getting your certificate on a CBT as a fail. Think of it as an opportunity. You need to develop a little bit more to then get your certificate. I'll tell you what, AWA, every week we get people not turning up for the CBT. Well, on DAS lessons as well. But every week we have people not turning up. Now, so back to the manual handling. So the objective is to push it from one bay to the other in a safe control. You can go backwards and forwards as many times as you want. Very important, you don't miss your observations. Very important, the bike is within the 4 green cones. It's not sticking out. Very important, you don't walk over a cone and knock one over. And very important, you don't drop the bike. But it is a very simple maneuver. And for some of you, remember, before your Module 1 test, and make sure that you are well hydrated, and make sure you've had either breakfast if it's in the morning or lunch if it's in the afternoon, because you do need brain food, because that bike can feel heavy. So make sure that you're fully energized, and yeah, you get the one go to do it, and good luck with that one. All right, so that is the first exercise, manual handling. So looking good then. We just topped 30 people watching at once, and we've got 19 likes, so, or 20 likes. Can we get some more likes? So anybody that's watching that hasn't liked the live stream, please do so. And also just a reminder that we have 3 live streams scheduled for this week alone. So tonight is all about Module 1. On Thursday, it's all about Module 2. And on Friday, it is about bike maintenance. Okay? So please do set those reminders if you've not done so already. Because as somebody has pointed out, and we do mention it many, many, many times, this is all free advice. It's free information for you to use going forwards to achieve that objective. Any tips to combat nerves? Yeah, well, we all get them. And I would say if you look at the biggest reason that somebody would fail the Module 1 test, it is going to be all contributed to nerves. Okay. Now, we all suffer from them in different ways, but you will know how your body reacts to nerves, and you will know how that you can combat them. Some people go to the chemist and get those calms. Other people, yeah, just psych themselves up, have different ways that they can tackle it. So there's not really one correct answer for that, as much as I would love to be able to give the answer, because I could wrap it up and sell it, couldn't I, and make myself a lot of money. So exercise number 2 is slalom, figure of 8. So it's like 2 exercises in one. Now, your slalom and figure of 8, you've got 5 yellow cones and 2 blue cones. And 5 yellow and 2 blue. So your slalom through the yellow, your point of entrance would always be from the side that you're bay. So you're entering between the first 2 yellow, and then you're going through the yellow and into the blue, and then it's the figure of 8. Now, we teach at RJH first gear, and it's a slow speed coordination exercise. So you throttle, clutch and rear brake, and the clutch wants to be feathered. You're feathering, you're slipping that clutch. What we find is important is that you get some rhythm, and we teach you to do this exercise in 6-7 miles per hour. 6, 7, 8 miles per hour. And if you're thinking of doing it at 3 or 4 miles an hour, you're just making it so hard for yourself. I'm not saying it's impossible to do that, because it is, but you certainly need to be a skillful rider. But you need the rhythm, because it will help you, and it'll make it a lot easier for you and less stressful. So get a speed of 6, 7 miles an hour. But remember, the most important control is the clutch. You've got to be slipping that clutch, feathering that clutch. So if you're starting off in the green bay, you're going to get back on the bike and start her up. You're going to be back into first gear control position. No front brake. Don't want that front brake on slow speed. And mirrors and shoulders before you set off every time through the first 2 yellow, 6, 7 miles an hour. Through the yellow into the blue, couple of figures of 8, but you keep going on the figure of 8 until your examiner calls you out. And your examiner will call you out on one side if it's a left circuit, and he'll call you out on the other side if it's a right circuit, because you do get a right circuit or a left circuit module 1. And that really is all to do with the avoidance. So if you're actually doing a right avoidance, you'll be going round from the left to the right. If you're doing a left avoidance, you'll be going around from the right to the left. That's how it works. But you carry on doing your figure of 8 until your examiner calls you out one side or the other, and he will get you to do at least 2. Yes, you can go round the last yellow cone when doing the figure of 8. I've seen a couple of videos saying no, saying you can. Yes, you can. So if you do go round that yellow cone, the last yellow cone, or the first, if you like, if you go round that yellow cone, that is fine, Wayne. Now, I personally don't teach you to do that. So when I teach my students to do it, I'm using a little bit more of the space, only a little bit more from the blue cone, so that when you do, and then you balance it all out. And when I teach my pupils, I am within that yellow cone. But it's not a problem if you go outside of it. So, yeah, there's a lot of mixed views online about it, but yeah, it's fine if you go around it. So don't worry too much about it. Yes, Andy, you can try this one day. We'll get the cones out and let you have a play. I've got a nice little electric scooter for you, Andy, that you could do it on. All right, so let me know, and I'll get the little electric scooter out for you. You can have a go on it. Wait for the comeback. Waiting for the comeback now, Andy. AWA, Alex Williams, yet some who pass like that will suggest newbies should be a 1255 as a rite of passage. Greg, only 19, so perfect age for an A2. There's way more people to their A, but obviously I can't get that. We actually, Greg, have a lot of people on A2, and I think I know why. At the moment, we have a lot of A2s. I think one of the reasons, I like to think one of the reasons is that we have a fleet of Kawasaki Z400s, really lovely bikes. And we also have a Honda Rebel 500 for A2. So we have a lovely selection of bikes for A2. RJ, please clarify the speeds you teach for slalom and figure eight. 6 to 7 seems to be the norm, yeah, but some suggest run at idle depending on the bike and rider. You can run on idle 6 to 7 miles an hour. You need very, very little gas. I mean, if you put in more gas on, more drive, you're going to need more brake. And you know, the slow speed coordination is fantastic. So give it a bit more gas, give it a bit more brake on things like the U-turn and slow speed in a straight line, which we'll come to in a minute. But that slalom and figure of eight, it will do that nicely on modern bikes. It'll do it nicely just using that clutch. Very little, if any, rear brake. Just use it as a stabilizer. But 6-7 miles an hour on idle, yeah, not a problem. Not a problem at all. If you're doing it in second gear, you're going to go too fast. The yellow cones will catch up with you, and then you'll be knocking them over. Knock them over. It's not just then the inconvenience, is it? You're going to be waiting for a few months to get a retest. Yeah, grabbing too much clutch and bike dropping. No, well, that's if you're tense. So AW, if you're tense, so if you're using this to get you through your slalom, yeah, you're going to declutch it, lose your drive, feet down, all sorts. You've got to keep that friction. The clutch has got to keep the bike moving. That's your balance. Yeah, that's your balance. Yeah, so you're lucky you had 10 working days for a Mod 2. Mod 2s we do find are easier to get than Mod 1s. Yeah, there are certainly a lot more Module 2 tests available than Mod 1s. So, yeah, that's not. Do you give it all, but the distance between coming out of the turn to the speed trap doesn't seem enough for my bike. Depends what bike. If it's a 125, Amy, if it's a 125, yeah, you're going to have to really carry that speed 20 miles an hour around that bend if you can, maybe a bit faster. And then you're going to have to really give it some gas. What bike is it that you're riding? What bike is it that you're riding? Oh, you're up there. You're doing an A1 Mod 1 tomorrow. The only thing I struggle to get the speed on 125 for speed record. Any advice? Right, what bike is it? 125 2020 Honda Grom. So, I mean, they're nippy little bikes. So, second gear, keep it in second gear, get round that top bend, 20 miles an hour. And if you've not been on there to practice, you can practice get a quiet road somewhere, practice 20 mile an hour up to 32. And, you know, really give it some gas. It should get up there. It may be you even want to try and get into third gear, but yeah, I mean, that bike is quite a modern bike. So you've got to really give it that gas and be nice and confident with it. All right. So going back to that slalom and figure of eight, what's going to cause you a problem then on your test would be if you miss your observations before you set off, and if you hit a cone, and if you put your foot down. If you put your foot down when you're riding on that slalom and figure of eight, you're going to have a problem. So, yeah, but, you know, it can be done. All right. And relax those wrists, AW. Relax those wrists, and you should get going. All right. Keep that clutch on the friction zone. Yes, there's a lot of comments there, Amy. Third gear. Give it that gas around that 20 miles an hour around that bend and get up to that third gear and give it some gas. Stretch, try to tuck in a bit, maybe since wind resistance on the 125 makes it. Yeah, you could do. Yeah, get your, look at your body positioning as well. AW, one other thing, look where you want to go. Don't look at the cones. Biggest cause of it in the cones, you're looking at it, look where you want to go. You can see the cones without looking at them. Use your peripheral vision. Use your peripheral vision. That's very, very important. So good. Well, that was good. I think we just topped up to about 34 people watching at one point then. That was quite good. 26 likes. So all looking good. If it's your first time on the channel, Amy, there's a new name. Greg, I think that's a new. There's quite a few new names on there. Please do subscribe to the channel. I have 3 live streams this week scheduled. Module 2 on Thursday and bike maintenance on Friday. We are looking at weekly live streams. For the last 3 months, we've done weekly live streams, and there's other videos. We've got a whole range of playlists covering everything from CBTs, Module 1s, Module 2s. So if you are a new name on here tonight, please do subscribe. It makes all the difference. Right. So your examiner calls you out of your slalom figure of 8, and you're then going to be ultimately facing down to the same area where you were parked up. But the next exercise is what? So what is the next exercise then after the slalom and figure of 8? What is the next exercise? Who can come through with the correct answer? Wayne, slow speed. Yes, slow speed. So this is what we call slow speed in a straight line, and it's with the examiner walking behind you. But it's not just a question of riding slowly in a straight line. What you have to do is stop with your front wheel in a box of 4 blue cones. So from where you are, he's going to be calling you out to one side. You've then got to ride slowly with your front wheel stopping in the 4 blue cones. Now, when he's called you out of the figure of 8, what you want to do then is just pop the bike into neutral. And yeah, you don't have to have your hands on the bar, somebody was saying. No, just relax. You can put your arms on the tank. You can just relax your hands. You might have been a bit tense. You got through there, but just relax. And and what you can see people starting to relax when they've done the manual handling, they've done the slalom and figure 8, and then they pull out and they're waiting there. You can see them relax, almost see the colour come back into their cheeks, because they're putting a lot of pressure on themselves to get that exercise done. So they've done that, fantastic. He'll then explain to you slow speed in a straight line, front wheel in the box of 4 blue cones, and he's going to be walking behind you. Now this is the one. So where you want to be giving it a little bit more gas, giving a little bit more clutch drive, still feather in the clutch, yeah, but get your foot on that rear brake from the start. We use it as a POM, prepare, observe, maneuver. So give it a bit of gas, give it a bit of drive. The bike wants to go. It won't go because your foot's on the rear brake. And even then, give it a little bit more gas, give it a bit more drive. So really fight that control. Don't let it stall. And then your foot on the rear brake is all that's stopping it moving. Then you can get your observations done, mirrors and shoulders, and then just release a bit of pressure on the rear brake. Only a little bit. Don't take your foot off it. Release a little bit of pressure off the rear brake, and then you're moving away slowly. Straight away, he's going to see the brake light on straight away, and then you can get a nice speed of about 3 or 4 miles an hour, rather than riding away with no brake and then reining it in, trying to get your slow speed coordination. Get it from the start. all the way the brake light can be on. Front wheel, very important that front wheel stops in the box of 4 blue cones. And he's going to be walking behind you. He doesn't want you doing 6, 7, 8 miles an hour. Even though they're not measuring the speed, that's going to be too fast. So he wants it about 4 miles an hour. Yeah, so people stop the front wheel. So problems on a test, on a module 1, on the slow speed is that you miss your observations. You're putting your feet down whilst you're riding. You're going too fast. Or indeed your front wheel doesn't end up in the blue box. Either it's gone too far forward or it's too far back. So the other thing is if you hit the blue cone over of the box, and it happens. So any of those will be a problem. All right, pop it into neutral and then relax. So that's the manual handling, slalom figure of 8, slow speed in a straight line, front wheel stopped within the 4 blue cones. So what is the next exercise? Who can answer what the next exercise is? Wayne, U-turn. Yeah, dragon, red dragon, U-turn. Fantastic. Now, if there's any one exercise on this test that people have a phobia about, if there's any one thing that anybody has a hang-up with, it is the U-turn. And I'm still yet to do the video of sort of my top. I was going to do top 10 tips to a successful U-turn. Because there's so many things that can aid you in doing a good U-turn. I mean, practice makes perfect. Without seeing somebody do a U-turn, then it's hard to identify what they're not doing right. But there's so many things. Now, the U-turn exercise on a module 1 test is always left to right, even if it's on the other side. If it's on a right circuit, the U-turn is going to be on the left. If it's on a left circuit, the U-turn is going to be on the right. But you're always doing a U-turn left to right. Left to right. Now the U-turn is 2 solid white lines. Yeah, your front wheel's in the box of 4 blue cones. You've got 2 solid white lines, and the width in between is 7.5 meters. Now you get a tank round there, so it's quite a wide U-turn. In the old days, oh dear me, it was a lot narrower than that. But the U-turn on a module 1 test facility is generous, 7.5 meters. So you know, you can get one of these bikes round, get a 650 round there quite comfortably. So what is the general views then of the U-turn? So slow speed control, a bit like the slalom figure of 8 in the pace. So I would say 6, 7 miles an hour makes it easier. The coordination, gas, clutch, rear brake, very, very important. Observations, as always, very important. Second lifesaver, so mirror shoulders moving off from the box of 4 blue cones, but before you actually commit to the turn, get a lifesaver, chin to shoulder lifesaver before you turn. So it's no point doing the lifesaver and turn at the same time. Do your lifesaver, head back before you turn, and that shows that you've got the benefit of being able to act on what you see. No front brake on a U-turn. Look where you're going on a U-turn. Counterweight the bike on the U-turn, relax on the U-turn. So yeah, lots of different top tips, but I was going to, I still will do. I want to get a spare half a day and I'll go out and do one. 3 key things on the physical U-turn: balance, head, bars. Yeah, so balance. So foot down. Why do people put the foot down? They lent with the bike. Why do people put the foot down? Because they brought the clutch in. Why do people put the foot down? Because they're looking down. Foot down on a U-turn would not be a pass. Go outside the white lines, not looking where you want to go. So yeah, falling off the bike on a U-turn, front brake, clutching, right foot down, front brake. Yeah, so all these are recipes for disaster. So practice makes perfect. The U-turn, same as a figure of 8. Keep the clutch on the friction, keep the bike moving forward, look where you want to go, counterweight the bike if needed. So there's quite a few tips on that, but I will be doing my top, say, 10 tips of a successful U-turn. Because I think, as I said earlier, the U-turn is probably one of the things, and people have never done a U-turn and they come to us and they got this phobia because they hear all these stories. Well, you know, don't listen to them, because the U-turn can be really, really easy if you're practice and you've been skilled at it. Just Joel, I find myself right on the limit for width, sometimes in by 1 foot, sometimes right on the line. Any magic tip now for shaving a foot off the width? Yeah, I can tell. So front wheels in the box of 4 blue cones, you're doing all your observations, you ride forward slightly, and you do your lifesaver before you turn. And what I would say is just turn the wheel to the left slightly before you turn it to the right. And that way, as you turn it, you've got the arc of the wheel, and it gives you a little bit more, rather than going from a straight. It's a bit like at a T-junction. If you're at a T-junction or a major to minor turning right, and you sat waiting, just turn the wheel slightly to the right, and it just gives you a better turn, a better point of turn. So on a U-turn, so for that exact reason, what I find can help you, turn the wheel an inch to the left before you turn it to the right. Let me know how you find that. That's Just Joel. So try it, Just Joel. Let me know what you think. AW8RJ. Before moving off for U-turn, I would do mirrors, then right lifesaver. Do you advocate just the right or left? I do both. So if I was parked up on the side of the road, I'll go left lifesaver, left mirror, right lifesaver. Yeah, left lifesaver, left mirror, right lifesaver, left to right. Before you actually turn, the U-turn, right lifesaver. Very, very important. Yeah, so that got a bit of interest on the U-turn, didn't it? Eh? So it is something that people do sort of get a bit worked up about. So the other thing that might be for turning tight is turning the wheel a bit earlier. So get the hard work done the first quarter of the U-turn, and then the last quarter you can be a bit easier rather than finding getting around running out of space. So get a bit more turn at the beginning. But I would certainly say try that little tip of turning the wheel to the left slightly before. But you don't want to go outside of the white line, of course. Try it in the morning, Joel. Let us know how it goes. So that is all the slow speed stuff completed. You are now facing the opposite way to the training facility. So you're now facing the opposite way. Now, if you're on a right circuit, which means you're going to get the right avoidance, you'll be going around from the left to the right because you're going to get right avoidance. If you're on a left circuit, you will be going from the right to the left because you've got a left avoidance. Either way, first exercise is what I call a sight lap, but it is officially called a controlled stop. So that's what we're going to have a chat about now. Let's just see something else come through there. RJ Motorbike training. Thanks. Really useful on the checks before moving off. Thanks. Well, it's so left to the right being your immediate danger. That's the area you're moving into. What if you do a U-turn but can do it way before the line? Yeah, so don't go past the white line and don't go outside the white line. So you can do it anywhere within then. So don't go past the end of the white line, and don't go outside the width. Anywhere in between there, that's fine. As long as it's safe, control, good observations and control, not a problem. So first high speed is the controlled stop. So you're going to go around the top circuit at 20 miles an hour. That's what we recommend. And why not have a go at getting up to your speed? You don't have to. It's not measuring the speed on the controlled stop. So the controlled stop, he will be looking for how you stop and getting your front wheel in the same 4 blue cones. So your front wheel has to be in the box of 4 blue cones. Now, I don't know why people seem to struggle with stopping their front wheel in the box. Now, it's a big box. You know, get that front wheel in it. How are you going to stop? He's looking at it. He's not looking at the speed or anything like that. He's looking at your controlled stop. So he's looking at ABC. So off the gas, front brake, back brake, clutch in, first gear to stop. Boom, done. If your front wheel's not in that box, you're not going to get your pass certificate. Everybody happy with that? But why not have a go at getting up to speed? Because, you know, if you're getting up to speed, have a little practice run. Why not? But he's not measuring that. What he is measuring, what he is looking for, is how you stop. Is everybody happy with that one? Everybody very happy with that then. That's good. What's next then? So he'll get you to turn around. You don't have to do another U-turn. So he'll get you to turn around, but it's not a U-turn. So use as much space as you want. Minor or major fault if you put your foot down when stopping, but lift it slightly and move it, put it down too early at say 1 to 2 miles an hour. Minor or major fault if you put your foot down when stopping, but lift it slightly. Yeah, I think if you're coming to a controlled stop with your front wheel in the box and you bring your foot down too early, you're not putting your foot down to hold the bike up. But I don't know, maybe a minor fault. It shouldn't be a serious fault, but don't do it. Yeah, you don't want to put your chances. Your foot comes down once, doesn't it? Your left foot comes down as you're stopping. AW8 60-40 in the dry conditions, yes. Or 50-50 if it's wet. You'll be looking at all that. It's a controlled braking exercise. Then what you'll do whilst you're there, pop it into neutral, and he's then going to put one cone on the other. So there's now 2 blue cones ready for the next but one exercise. But the next exercise, you're going to need to turn around. Don't worry about doing a U-turn. Just turn around, use as much space as you want, but don't forget your observations. And then turn around, pop it back into neutral. He'll come over and then explain to you about the emergency stop exercise. And this is where you do need to be at 32 miles per hour. And what we teach is between 32 and 35 miles per hour. And you must bring that bike to a stop in the shortest possible distance, given the conditions, under full control. So how are you going to stop? When are you going to stop? So you cannot do the stop until you see the hand come up. The hand is not going to come up until you're through the speed trap, which is in between the second pair of red and the yellow. Yeah, so you're going to be going around at 20. You're going to be getting the speed up to 32, to 35. As soon as you come through the yellow, the hand comes up and you're going to stop quickly, safely, under control. I teach you to come around at 20 and then get up to 32 before the first red comes. Then you're not worrying about your speedo. You've got your speed set. If you're busy looking down at your speedo when you're coming through all the cones, you're more likely to miss the hand go up, so your stopping distance is going to be longer, or you're going to hit a cone because you're veering off. So make sure you're comfortable going from 20 to 32 to 35 before the first red, and then you can hold it coming through, can't you? Until this comes up after the yellow, and you're then going to stop quickly, safely. How are you going to do that? So you're going to stop by rolling off the throttle, using your front brake and back brake, bringing the clutch in. You're going to leave the gears alone. Bring your gears, changing the gear makes your stopping distance longer. Once you've stopped, remember your hazard. Have a look in your mirrors, look over your shoulders, pop it into neutral. The examiner will come up to you. Now, at this time, the examiner is going to be somewhere down the bottom here. Now, when you're coming through and he puts his hand up, you want to be stopping quite quickly. You're going to come through the reds, but quite quickly you're going to be stopping here. Now, all of our bikes have ABS brakes. The best brakes you've got on a modern bike. So those bikes will stop quickly, but in control. Right, 32 miles per hour is 50 kilometers per hour. You can get away with 49, 48 with a minor fault. 47 kilometers per hour is outside of the 5% allowance. You'll get a minor fault, and providing it's just the speed that's incorrect, you get a second attempt. If you're skidding and doing all sorts of other things and you're under speed, then you won't get a second attempt. Your second attempt is only based on you speed-related fault. So you could get a second attempt if you're not quite up to speed. Remember, second attempts mean that you're going to be under a bit more pressure. So get that bike stopped quickly, but get that speed set correctly. All right, 50 kilometers per hour, 32 miles per hour. You can come through at 51, 52, 53 kilometers per hour. There's no upper limit. But remember, the faster that you come through there, the harder it is going to be for you. All right? Any questions? I did a real hazard avoidance when a driver put out, that is why it is in the test. That's everyday stuff. Paul, yeah, so we will both, I'd say to you on that. So we will always get you to check. Last time you look at your speedo is at the first red comes. As I said, if you start looking at your speedo coming through, you're going to have problems. So go around the bend at 20, get up to 32 to 35 before the first red. That's the last time you want to have a look at your speedo. Okay? Now, 32, 35 miles per hour is 5,000 revs, and get used to that sound. And you both, I'd say. All right? Brycey, there's another new name. Got your mod 1 next Tuesday. So this video, you can play it back, you can watch it. And there's a lot of useful information on your Brycey, so please do. That's a new name. Subscribe to the channel. Set those reminders for the up and coming live feeds. I've got a live feed on Thursday, which is module 2, and I've got a live stream on Friday, which is bike maintenance. Okay, so a few new names coming through again now. Get those subscribed, please. And yeah, Matt, is it a pass or a fail, i.e. you have to do it again? No, you only get a second attempt on the high speed maneuvers. If you do get a second attempt, there's a minor fault for having to do it. If you're having to do it again because you're not up to speed, you only get one go anyway. So if you're not up to speed on your second go, that would be a serious fault. Amy, mine's tomorrow. Got a cancellation. Waiting times here are crazy, so I'm very lucky. Yes, well done. Where are you from, Amy? Because all up and down the country, tests are hard to come by, and we are getting people watching from all up and down the country. Yeah, good luck with your module 1. Cumbria, well, that's not too far away. So where is your test in Cumbria? Is it in, not Kirkby Lonsdale, is it? No, where is it? Is it a test centre in Cumbria? It's not too far from us anyway, Cumbria. Carlisle, very good. We've got a few people watch us from Carlisle, I think, up that way. But anyway, yeah, keep us posted. and let us know how you're getting on. So yeah, the emergency stop generally then is going to be recorded at a higher speed than the hazard avoidance, and we'll explain why. Because on the emergency stop, you're coming through the speed measure and equipment, and you don't do anything until this hand goes up. So you're coming through at 32, 35, the speed that you've got it. Yeah, there's another Lee Newton from Cumbria. That's another new name, I think. Lots of new names on tonight, which is good. So well done. Thanks for joining us. The hazard avoidance then is the last high-speed exercise. Speed requirement needs to be the same, but you're coming through the avoidance. So you're coming through the reds, through the speed trap, then you're coming through the 2 blues, and then you're going to stop in the 2 blue cones, because remember the 4 blue cones are now back to 2. So why do you think the hazard avoidance is generally a little bit slower than the emergency stop? The reason is why is generally the hazard avoidance slower than the emergency stop. So Bryce, do you let off the gas at the speed trap for the hazard avoidance? Mine was originally for September. Really didn't want to wait that good. Yeah. So well, you don't want to let the speed off until you're through the speed trap, and that's what happens. Is you close the throttle before the speed trap. And of course, the engine braking drops. So what you want to do is close your throttle off on the avoidance, which means you're through the speed trap, and all you're doing is closing off throttle. You don't need to brake because you've got your engine braking helping you. You don't need to do anything until you're straight. It's not yeah. So has anybody done the avoidance? Is everybody happy with the avoidance? Are you hitting the cones? What's the general feeling with the avoidance? Because we might be able to help you out. Very important that you don't look at the speedo until after the very important you don't look at the speedo after the first red cone, so you can concentrate on the maneuver. Very important you don't look at the cones, look where you want to go. Very important you don't brake on the avoidance, you just close your throttle. Yeah, just Joel, do you have to tip? Yeah, you can do lots of different ways. Put a little bit of pressure. So if you've gone on the left avoidance, you put a bit of pressure on the left. Yeah, a bit of that counter steer. So you can put a bit of pressure. If you're going to the right, you can put a bit of pressure on the right. But yeah, various different. You can start doing the turn slightly earlier. So don't come through the speed trap and then think about doing the avoidance. Start the avoidance when you're coming through the speed trap. Lots of different ways, but yeah, you want to be away from that blue cone. And make sure that you are stopping within the 2 blue cones. Again, you could get a second attempt if you're not up to speed. Yeah, so some people at AW8 can just get it. Some people need a little bit more work. Everybody is different. With the emergency stop, if he's happy, so you do the emergency stop and he'll come over to you. The two pieces of script he'll say is, thanks very much, I will not ask you to do that again. That means he's happy with it. Or he might say, right, you need to turn around, you need to do it again. And if he does do that, ask him what speed you were doing, because they're not very forthcoming with the speed. And remember, the speed that he gives you it is in kilometers per hour, not miles per hour. So 50 kilometers per hour is 32 miles per hour. On your free student evaluation, it was wet and windy. Well, most of the time, this country is wet and windy. Yeah, so any part of the bike, Paul? Yeah, so any part of the bike. But if you just stick a white line in between the 2 blue cones, just put your white front wheel on that too. But yeah, you can go through it a little bit. It's not a problem. It's not stopping front wheel in a particular point. You just need to stop in between it. Then he will say, yeah, happy, sort of get you back over to the gate, ride over to the gate, and he'll open up the gate. Remember, though, when you ride over to the gate, all your observations, he'll open up the gate, he'll ask you to ride into the car park. Remember all your observations. Remember, you're still on test, all right? So the test is still on. But that is all in all about 15 minutes. I had a record. I had a young lad do it all in 7 minutes. He was a nice rider. Did it all in 7 minutes. So how's that? Or anyone typing. They're fairly near just about. I want to delete this as paranoid of weirdos, not you. Oh dear. Front wheel. Fairly near just this. Deleting. Anyway, Lee Newton, the Carlisle lads are great. They went out of their way to lower one of their bikes for me when I couldn't find one small enough. Yeah, I mean, listen, we all try our best for everybody. We're all different. And yeah, so there's some good schools out there. There's some good instructors out there that will help you. But there also are some dodgy ones. Just Joel, listen, mate. You just do your best. Yeah, get a good breakfast. What time is your test? Let us know how you get on. I hope this live stream has helped you. I hope this live stream has helped you. Don't think there's anything else I can really add other than take your time with each exercise. When you do each exercise, the examiner will have a chat with you. So put the bike into neutral and relax. And you can ask him any questions you want. He'll answer them. And just relax. But also, when then you know, yeah, do you understand what you're doing? Yeah, and all this sort of thing. Don't just get into it and just relax. Take your time. Look at what you just think about it. And, you can do it. You wouldn't be there if you couldn't do it. Yes, and that's a shame that, Amy, because we do tasters before CBTs as well. But CBTs, it's your first experience into this wonderful world of motorcycling. And yeah, I mean, so it hasn't hindered your confidence, but a lot of people that will have done it will have put a lot of people off, and it is a shame because it means that we're failing. And as instructors, we're in the front of the line before manufacturers, before the bike dealerships, before the clothing dealerships. We are the front line. We are the people that are bringing you into the industry. And that industry could be a 50-year relationship for you. And if we're sending you away from that 50 years, that's such a big loss. And as I said earlier in the thing, I first got on a motorbike 50 years ago next year. 50 years ago next year is when I first introduced them. So, there's a lot of bikes that have been bought, a lot of bike gear that's been bought. So it's a big it's a big letdown if we are not given that first taste on two wheels. It's a shame. And, we don't associate ourselves with those sort of people because we do want to introduce all of you into biking because, biking is the future. The biking is the future. You'll get the, congestion, the environment, and it's so much greener. Yeah, so that sort of attitude is not good. It's a sort of attitude, no doubt, the instructors shout at their trainees. And, they are not a good representation of the majority of bike schools because the majority of bike schools are not like that, let me assure you now. Fantastic, Phil. Good, you're on, yeah. I've not been on a bike in 30 years, but will be soon. Go for it. Go for it. It's a good pastime. So that is taking me up to about an hour and 35 minutes. I think I've covered most things. Yeah, what will happen then? You get your results straight away. Pass or fail. You get an email report of your result, and also on passing, you get another little certificate. You get an A4 size certificate, which you then add to your collection of certificates ready for your module 2. But my advice would be don't rush your mod 1. Make sure that you're well prepared, and make sure that you are comfortable with all of the exercises. And if you're not, put a bit of time in to get yourself comfortable, okay? Because it's you can't blag the module 1. You can't sort of go in there with an attitude, well, you've got to be comfortable with all your stuff. So I think I'm almost done. What I will just do is thank you all for watching, and I do appreciate it. There's a few new names on here tonight, so I hope you do join us again. The next live stream is Thursday, and I've also got one on Friday. So for now, for those of you that got your tests coming up over the next few days, good luck. Do report back to us. You can send us a message on any of the on the videos. We will always get back to you. But I wish you all well, and yeah. So I think I'm pretty much done. So I'm going to clock off. So I'm going to go and get a nice drink before early start again tomorrow. And yeah, so we'll catch up with you all very, very soon. All right. So thanks for watching and take care, everybody.